Here's how we help 31-year-old free agent Jacob Bosiokovic get back to throwing 100 miles an hour. My name is Marsili. I'm a performance coach here at Triathletics. Bosie is a great example of utilizing the free mocap giveaway for guys. Had a very inconsistent up and down 2024 season. First half started off really well, second half struggled a little bit, ended up being released at the end of the year. So when the off-season started, end of September, he came in, got his initial biomechanic breakdown. In the initial process of getting Bosie assigned to me, it was good for buy-in knowing that I'd coached 3 or 4 of his teammates in the AAA big league level with the Cardinals. So knowing that we've had success with some of his other teammates, I think it really helped with his buy-in immediately. The biggest things that kind of stood out, and starting from the movement side first, arm action was definitely the biggest red flag for us. It was definitely late into landing. It was inside 90, super pushy, uphill into released. That was the biggest, glaring markers that popped up for us. His rotation numbers were pretty good. Bosie's a big, strong, powerful guy. So from the actual power output, force development side, he really crushed it. But from the movement side, we had to get more out of the arm. Upper half being the biggest red flag, lower half pretty good. Everything else rotating pretty well. So we had to clean up the arm action a good bit. Going to the actual arsenal, Bosie's a high slot supinator, so he has that cutty 4-seam. He can run a sinker off of that and has the ability to throw the 2 break balls. Gyro with the sweep after that. If you're going through his 2024 numbers, you would see he kind of threw a little bit of everything, but didn't really have a whole lot of consistency with anything. He's always had the cutty 4-seam. We throw the sinkers at times. He went from throwing just the gyro to just a sweep to trying to throw both with inconsistent plots on both of those. From the data side, being able to actually give him concrete goals of this is what we're trying to get with each pitch, and this is how we're going to do it. These are the grips. That was another huge part of the off-season goal that we had. As the off-season kind of got rolling, we had to kind of plan for the early pro day, January 10th to the 12th date, to be ramped up ready for. Ideally in the past it's been, get ready for camp, but we kind of had to expedite our process a little bit. For me, like the beginning of the off-season, the way it normally works is as we're on ramping, it's a big patterning phase. So we're going through a bunch of constraint plyos. We're basically trying to fix the mechanical flaws to basically when we get to 100% come December, we don't really need to worry about it. We can worry about the actual arsenal design stuff in the beginning. The drills that we kind of started off with was a pretty constrained 1 knee down throw to where we're trying to get the upper half on time, trying to create space for the arm so it can actually unwind and get into retraction. Different 10 toes variations and then some different step back variations, seeing how we load the back leg, see if that actually gave the arm more time to get flipped up and in a better position. For the most part, it was working. Patterns were getting better. To the eye, it looked like everything was moving the way we needed to. From the on-ramp standpoint, basically we took 2 weeks off in October, started on-ramping from middle of October, basically through the end of November. Distance and intensity each week with volume. At the end of that, we kind of did like a mini velo phase to where twice a week we were hitting a long toss with shuffles into a plyo testing constraint-based approach. So numbers were pretty good, pulling down close to 100, which Bosie was an outfielder / first baseman when he started his career. So like tapping into the athletic side for him, his first pitching cues that he was given was up, down, point, shoot. He really didn't have much of a background when it came to that. So doing athletic stuff, kind of tapping into that was really big for us. When we got to the actual mound, things were going well, but not to a certain degree that we needed. He came in house right before Christmas and was in that like 3 to 5 range, but wasn't pushing great. Shapes were a little inconsistent. Patterns weren't as great on the mound as we started. The one thing for me, which I think is the biggest sign for him, is just his torso position. Like, can he keep his torso closed in a foot strike? Actually allow the arm to get flipped up in retraction and go, just because he can rotate so powerfully. So one drill we kind of tinkered with was taking his basically 10 toes variation that we had and turning it into more of a lateral, more athletic, dynamic 10 toe, something to where like we step to the left and kind of try and throw basically towards the camera here. And what that kind of taught him to do was, this is essentially going down the mound, but for him to throw the ball this way, upper half has to get closed. Like he has to feel his shoulders to actually get closed to get into retraction, to be able to rotate and go. So that kind of taught him, okay, like I just can't go down the mound without my upper half doing anything. This action needs to be active. This action needs to help the arm load, assist in getting the arm up. And all of a sudden, like Next bullpen was 95, 97. Bullpen after that was 96, 98. Then we were 97, 98. And we kind of kept climbing simply because he basically found and figured out, I need to use this to actually help the arm get flipped up, to be able to apply more force from a loaded position with him being strong, him being able to rotate well. So immediately we started seeing the progress from adding in that different variation of the different 10 toes here. We went laterally, we went sideways to where it's kind of like a slide step, but something to where he could still feel that and kind of just transition it to the throw. Really, arm got more on time, torso got more closed, everything went to the side that we needed it to. From the Arsenal side, he kind of crushed it. The more consistent he moved down the mound. For us, our goal was throw the gyro hard, and if we can, let's get it negative. Somewhere it's getting slightly death ball-y, but something to where we can throw hard with depth. This is a pitch like a gyro slash death ball is more of a platoon neutral pitch. So it's a pitch that we're gonna throw a lot. We're gonna throw to both sides of the plate with guys. So it's a pitch that we had to really get locked in. The sweeper is gonna be primarily to the right-handed guy, just something to where they see the cut four seam, they see the depthy gyro. Sure, we can run the sinker off it, but something to where we can beat barrels away. That's what we use primarily more to righties. And then finally just sinker like being more into righties, giving something to where they're gonna go this way, and then we can go sweep or depth or carry off that. Just something where they have to respect something in on the plate and can't crash up over because everything else is going away. So they need something to respect them to keep them back. We threw a bullpen for team before pro day that week. You know, we averaged 98.2, maxed out at 99. Slider average was 88 to 89. Gyro at -2, which was great. The sweeper was 83 average at -14, which is plenty. And the sinker was 10 off of the fastball arm side, which if you just look at it in a vacuum, sure, it's not great, but knowing that the four seam is here and the sinker is there, that's all we need it to be. We need to be hard and run just a little bit. And then going over to pro day, it's kind of more of like that in-game adrenaline for him to where velo was half mile an hour up on average. In-game, like sometimes numbers change a little bit, but from the consistency standpoint, it was very similar to what it was the previous bullpen, the bullpens before that, which tell me like the patterns are sticking. The fastball averaged 99, slight cut on it. The sinker was 97, 98 with, again, about 10-ish off of that. The gyro was negative, which is what we wanted, negative and hard. Sweeper averaging 13 again at 83 plus. So from the Arsenal side, you know, we crushed it. I think for someone in his boat where he's been really close to debuting, but he's kind of hasn't had that like breakthrough performance. Like he's never really been, you know, the high level prospect where he needs everything to go his way. The way we finished the season was, again, not good. We finished in a pretty bad spot. So for us to basically take the back half of the 2024 season, get after it in basically October to January and to walking off the mound, basically having teams have interest immediately wanting to sign him, that was a really good sign for us. Like everything we did was pretty successful. Like eventually ended up signing with the Twins. Camp's off to a good start for him. I think just having those guardrails for him, like this is what we're doing on a movement side, this is what we're doing on a plyo side, this is what our throwing looks like. I think having that for him was the biggest thing, just because he's never really had that. Again, he was an outfielder. He was somewhere he just always threw hard, just kind of lifted his leg and kind of threw. Now we just kind of tap into it, so now he can be more consistent and basically get the higher level production on the mound, more consistency. I think ultimately Bosie is a great example of utilizing the free mocap that we had. We got numbers, gave us a concrete plan, and we knew exactly how to attack. If you're someone where you are kind of spinning those wheels, I think reach out, take advantage of that free mocap, give us a plan of attack, and we can kind of get moving forward from there. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to hearing from you guys.